I think this song represents EXO at its best. In a way, there's sexiness in subtlety. And this song is just not subtle at all.
Oh, but then the chorus came around and I was like, NCT who? Oh. This was one of those songs where I thought, dang, the production gave a lot more than the melody was giving me.
Viewer discretion is advised. Your fave will be criticized.
That's Chris.
That's Shan.
And welcome to CCTV, the nonstop pop show.
And we will be rating and going track by track through EXO's 7th album, Exist.
Looking for an awesome global pop music podcast? Chris and I have the inside scoop with extensive experience performing on stage and working at record labels. We review and deep dive into your favorite artists' songs and careers, analyzing all of the creative and business decisions along the way. So join us on Patreon at patreon.com and become a part of our amazing crew, including Lily, Emily, Kyria, and Juliet for more of the inside scoop behind the music. Or you can subscribe now and let's explore the world of pop music together.
Yes, and we are both huge fans of EXO. And if you're new to the show, definitely go check out our Pop 101 episode where we walk through EXO's whole career so far. But as a note, that was filmed before all the CBX lawsuit situation. So stay tuned to after our review when we reflect a bit about that drama and what's next for the group. But first, let's deep dive into Exist.
Released in July 2023, Exist is EXO's 7th album. Though Kai suddenly announced his military enlistment right in the middle of the album and the video recordings, his vocals are on the album even though they promote it as 7. And EXO broke its own record and had 1.8 million pre-orders in less than 1 month, which is really exciting. So we're going to go track by track and discuss the production, vocals, and lyrics and give our ratings for each song. And as you're watching, we do invite you to give your ratings in the comments below. So let's go at it, track by track.
First up, we have Cream Soda, which was done by Moon So Lee, Trey Jean-Marie, Kwame Kwe Arma, Adrian McKinnon, Bobby Candler, Ebenezer, and Imlay. And this is the title track of the album. So What do you think of Cream Soda?
This was a grower, because when I heard it, I don't know what I was expecting, but even with like, Don't Fight the Feeling, it was like upbeat and it was fun and it was like, electro pop. This one was definitely just R&B. Like this is like, it's interesting because maybe a couple years ago, if they would have released this, it would have been like, okay, whatever, sure. But it probably would have been a B-side on an earlier album. So when I first heard it, I was like, okay, let's see what happens. I think the intro of the song with the claps and the staccato singing before the brassy part is what I think caught my ear and thought it was going to go somewhere a little bit more, not dynamic, but a little bit more energetic. The pre-hook is very smexy with the falsetto. And I think that was the whole idea of this song. Like, I think Cream Soda is a great title, by the way. Like, SEO purposes, who the heck is going to name their song Cream Soda? There's a bunch of songs called I Love You, but not a lot called Cream Soda. So I think that's cool. And there's something smooth about it, and I do believe that was the intention. Whatever the original English demo was, it does make sense to have this song kind of be a little bit more grown up. I mean, the guys are literally in like their mid to late 20s. At this point, how much like, call me baby can you do after a while, right? So I get that. I do have to say that the vocal stack, the group stack after the pre-hook, the falsetto pre-hook, they're a little underwhelming. But again, the song is meant to be grown, so it's not going to be super bombastic. Vocally speaking, Chanyeol did a whole lot of singing, which is so interesting. I was like, why is he singing here? It's not a bad thing. I don't think he's a terrible singer. It's just really funny because I'm like, you got other members. Why is he singing and rapping? It's not a bad thing, but hearing him right after Baekhyun is interesting because I wouldn't have done that. Like that part sounded like Kyungsoo could have done it. And shout out to Xiumin. My boy did a lot of singing. Go ahead, Xiumin. Gosh, give that boy some lines, y'all. And they did. Like, literally, there's no vocoder, no effects, no nothing, which is nice, And I won't say I didn't miss Kai on this, but I do feel like Kai would have been a little bit more interesting to hear on it, even though he
is on it.
Featured what more? Like I didn't hear his voice as prominently as I probably would have liked, especially for this kind of song. Like he fits on songs like this. Like in the bridge. Okay, thanks. I heard him in different parts too, but like I'm like, oh, a verse part would have been nice for him too. The song did underwhelm me a bit, but now that I've kind of grown into the atmosphere around it, it's trying to embody lounge, not club. And like this is like the precursor to Love Shot, like the flirtation before the Love Shot moment for sure.
Yeah, so first off, I love cream soda. I don't drink soda or pop or whatever you call it, but I do drink Schweppes cream soda, and I'm only
Yeah.
allowed one every time I go back to Asia. So, yes, anyway, I love cream soda. But yeah, so I actually really did not like this song the first time I heard it. I was
Mhm.
very disappointed actually the first time I heard it because, spoiler alert, I did like the two pre-release tracks. So I was like, "Ooh, these two are good. Like, I bet the title track's just gonna be amazing." So my expectations were very high, especially because I am
Yeah.
an EXO fan. I love almost all of their title tracks as well. So yeah, my
Right.
expectations were very high. Thinking back on it, I think the melody is just a bit underwhelming for me overall, and it's a bit annoying. Like it's not
Oh.
shrill. I definitely wouldn't say it's shrill because I think
Mm.
their falsettos are very good. So
Mhm.
they're they're very open when they do the cream. Yeah,
Soda
it's like, yeah, it's just
cream.
like they make it as full and nice as it could sound,
I
but
know
that
what you mean.
melodically, I think because cream is like cream, that's so like
Yeah.
super high. It's just like a little like,
You
ugh.
didn't care for it, right? Okay.
Yeah, so it's just a little grating. I just wish the chorus was just a bit more sexy. I don't really know what it is. I think we've
Mm.
said it before. Like, for me, at least, there's sexiness in subtlety. And this song is just not subtle at all in any
Oh.
way. Like, even like
Yeah.
lyrically, like the English parts, like, give me that yum yum. Like, it's just like, yo, like, that's not sexy. Do you know what I mean? Like, you saying that, like, takes me out of it. So, like, yes,
Can
it's
you
like grown, but it's also like not because it's just that just
you
sounded so
know
juvenile. Do you know what I mean?
No, I know what you mean, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, they've always kinda teetered that line. I mean, like, Party to the Sundown, Shawty, like, they're not exempt from
Yeah,
the
but like if parts of this were sung with more of a whisper or like just a little more rasp or something, like I just
Right!
think it could have
Where
done a
Kai should
lot
have been,
more.
no
It could have been a
offense.
lot sexier. Like it's
Yeah.
just a little on the nose, I think. But
Gotcha,
watching the
gotcha.
performances though and listening to it more throughout these past few weeks, it has grown on me for sure, but
Mhm.
it's definitely still very low on my list of title
Mm.
track favorites.
Mhm,
It's very, very
mhm.
low. It might even be last place right now. I need to think about it. But yeah, so it's okay. I have to say though, I love Sehun and Chanyeol's rap moment. I think that
Yeah,
is the highlight for me, and it's a highlight in the performances as well.
yeah.
Production wise, I do like it. I think the guitars are cool. I like the distorted low horns. I like the clappy beat mixed with kind of the more bass heavy moments. It does give it a nice dynamic. I do think it's the
Mhm.
melody of the vocal parts that kind of let it down a bit for me.
That makes sense. That's reasonable. Speaking about their performances, though, it's been interesting to hear them not sing it live.
Yeah,
So
just FYI, guys,
SOLs,
they were not
like,
singing live on
no.
those music shows. They did sing it live that one time on that KBS show, and then, of course, on Killing Voice.
Yes.
But yeah,
Like I said, it's interesting to hear, and it kind of goes back to what you were saying about like certain kind of melodic choices or like vocals. Like again, Chanyeol, don't mind him singing. His second part right after Baekhyun does not make sense to me because his voice is a little bit too blary in that sense that you're kind of like it's kind of high. A smoother vocal would have been nicer there, but it's been nice to kind of watch them perform and figure out what parts they need to emphasize or what parts they need to sing. Kyung-soo is probably the one singing the falsettos mostly because
mm.
he'll sing it. I'll see him in the back center with his intricate dance moves. Mouth is barely moving, but the sound is coming out. It's been the funniest thing to watch, which I appreciate though, because the choreography is so difficult. And I was looking at it like, oh yeah, there's nothing special. Like it's fine. Like it's nothing crazy. But then I watched the watched the practice, and I was like, this is from Hades himself. Why is it so intricate? Like just certain little isos, like Kyungsoo's part. Even Baekhyun, when he first comes out, there's like a wrist, elbow, shoulder, shoulder, elbow, wrist motion that he does while he's singing. I'm like, F the notes. Just make sure you hit that part. It's so annoying. And then even Kyungsoo's part when they're dancing, there's like this weird iso where they're facing left and they have to do like a whole foot, knee, hip,
Yeah.
head jerk situation. And I'm like, there's a lot of twisty wrists and quick hands and boy, you would kill this choreography. Like every time I look at Sehun, I'm like, Chris could do that. He can
Oh,
handle
thank
this.
you. This is
You're
hard
welcome.
though.
It is.
Yeah, so the part that stood out to me was actually Chen. When he comes out, I think it's a trio, him in the front. I forget the other two are. But he starts the second verse and he does this crazy tutting situation. I was like, why is he doing all that?
Well, why? Yeah, that's the question. Why? Not like, oh, wow, stop, but why? Right.
Yeah, they were saying that they did not do a dance challenge for this because it was too hard. I mean, part of me thinks it's also because they just couldn't bother, but sure, they can use that. I mean, I think the choreo is good. It does look fun. I would like to learn it. But again, I'm going back to the subtlety equals sexy for me.
Yeah.
And so like, even the little like body roll parts and stuff, like
Yeah.
they do like full ass body. You know what I mean? Like it could be a little more subtle, the whole thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. So
Yeah.
again, just one of those like, why is it so intricate?
Yeah. And if you want an example of that, it's like the first post chorus when they're all just melting down, like they're in a V. And they're all they're all just melting down in different levels and stuff. Like that's very effective. That was enough. And then Dio can actually sing, you know? So
Yes.
yeah. Well, what did you think of the video?
The video was, again, it's kind of going for that like, not party boy, like Playboy lounge type. So again, it wasn't club. It was definitely not club.
Yeah, it was bachelor pad.
Yeah, it was not. It wasn't even sleazy. I wouldn't go so far as to say sleazy, but it was definitely just like, you know, rich boy type of situation. The styling was just questionable as well. I'm not gonna hold you. Beckham looked adorable in that his little pink ensemble he's been wearing for performances. But in the video, like they seemed like they were having fun. There was no like crazy story. I think it was interesting with the random white girl in the Sehun scene. That's always fun.
Was it Sehun? Wasn't it
Not
Xiumin?
Sehun? Sorry, Suho.
Oh, Suho.
Sorry,
Yeah.
guys. With Suho, with the fizz, the suds of the water coming down
Of the
on
cream
the window.
soda.
And I was like, ooh, mama, like, that's nasty. You really like that. Or maybe it wasn't nasty, but still it kind of gives you like, what is
You
that?
liked that? I thought that was so stupid.
Okay. Here's the thing, right? Like, I can appreciate it because I was like, what the heck? Because at first I was like, what's the point? But then I thought about the cream of the soda, like when you drink a root beer or a cream soda, it's just, you know, the extra fizz at the top. So I appreciate the visual of it. I hate that he was just sitting in the car, like, while she's sitting there looking at him. He's sitting there. I'm like, if you don't touch that woman, dang, like they're there to be touched, but not really.
That
But I
happened
think-
off camera.
I guess. I guess. But moments like that, I feel like they could have leaned a little bit more into like what the song means. Like just female dancers. I don't know, but like it's one of those things where I enjoyed the video, the little nod to Kai, things like that. I think that one scene with them in the box felt very Super Junior. I don't know. It was towing the line between who they used to be and what Super Junior kind of looks like to people now, and that worries me a bit. That's how I feel about that. What about you? Anything stand out or like?
Oh, it was fine. I guess I
Yeah.
like the idea of the kind of bougie dinner or a bougie like bachelor party. I don't know. I get the concept of that, but I just wish there was a bit more of a story there. Like I kind of get where they were going, right? Like it starts with the dinner and then there's like kind of an after party in that smoky room. So I kind of get where they were going, but I think it could have been more interesting the way they did it. And then when they're all leaving the party, I think they could have maybe been more disheveled. Like, I don't know, just more of like, even if stuff happened off screen, like just like, it's more a bit
Innuendo
more of a
helps,
story.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, so it was fine. I will say I hate that they're dancing in that windowless dungeon at one point. Like that is just so
The
SM.
box.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
why? Like you're in a mansion. There's so many other things you could do. They could all be dancing on the table, you know?
Oh my
like,
gosh,
I don't know.
yes.
It was okay. No, not much
Yeah.
replay value.
No, I'm watching the performances
Yeah.
more.
I mean, they looked good, but like
Yes.
there's not much replay value. Okay. So what do you rate this one?
I'm gonna give it a 7. It's like not for me super great, but it's not
I'll
terrible
give it a
either.
7 as well. Exactly the same. It's okay.
All right, the next track is Regretted by Jang Sung Min, Dim Joints, Adrian McKinnon, Tay Jasper, Lucky Day, Prince Charles, and Chanyeol. Woo! Okay, so this one kind of just keeps the grown and sexy feel right along, chugging right along. So how do you feel about this one? Because I have my thoughts about it, and considering who wrote the song or had a hand in it, I'm like, oh, okay. What I was feeling is not wrong.
Yeah. So Dem Joints is back again.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was all over the SM stuff. This song is also just okay for me. It's
Mm.
one that I rarely go back to these past few weeks, unfortunately. I do think there is an interesting juxtaposition between kind of the more aggressive start and the more aggressive transition moments, and then the verses and chorus are warmer and a bit lighter. So I appreciate what they were trying to do there.
Mhm.
The chorus melody is okay. I think the production is also okay. Like it's very bare. So then the little flourishes that show up are very noticeable. Like you get the piano
Mm,
trills. I
yeah.
like that behind the verse, at least the first verse, there's that ethereal vocal that kind of
Oh yeah,
runs
yeah,
throughout the whole thing. So it's
yeah.
interesting, but it's just a tad fillery for me. Like this would never be a contender for a title track. You know what I mean? Like it's
Oh
just
yeah.
kind of okay. It's just kind of there. I will say the production on the bridge is probably my favorite part. I think the rap parts are nice. It gets really full. I can imagine a really cool live band moment there, and it builds really nicely into the last chorus, at least.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's all just okay.
I agree with you, and I thought like the whole grown and sexy R&B thing, it was still going with it, and then with Lucky Day on it, he's like the new R&B boy. He's not that new. He's been around for a minute, but a lot of people know him for that. I thought it was over. Get my feelings over. Like a lot of people know him from like that TikTok sound.
Mhm.
But yeah, he's a great R&B like artist. So to see his name on this is interesting. I wonder what kind of conversation that was had. I was like, hey, we got some K-pop. You want to work on this? But I can hear some of it, and I think what really helps the song, in my opinion, is the vocalists. This isn't like super rap heavy, which is I appreciate. Oh my god, I think this one is very simple in terms of its sonic approach, and it's safe. Like yeah, EXO can do it because it's like an R&B song, but it's just almost too safe. I do appreciate like the emotional vulnerability about the song. The rappers come in during like the chorus parts, kind of like as an interjection, which I
Mhm.
appreciate because it kind of adds that layer of like my heart's on my sleeve, but there's a leather jacket over it. So it kind of just makes it a little bit cooler. Doesn't make the song better. It just helps to have that to kind of add a little bit more of a rougher texture, to the ooey gooiness of the vocals. The verses ooze and like their sweetener vocals, like you said, like in the second verse and the pre-hook. But this song is kind of just an example of why having vocalists and being vocally focused is important. The melody's super simple, but then you have these guys that have control over their melisma and good technique. Like the three main vocalists like float on this track. So by the time the bridge swing sung around for me, the energy naturally elevated and it felt a little bit more entertaining. But because the song wasn't consistently entertaining throughout, it just kind of
Mm.
felt like, oh, finally, there's something happened here, as opposed to, ooh, something else. It was just, oh, finally. And yeah, because of that, I don't know if the score is gonna be too high for me. Like it's definitely less than cream soda, which stinks. But I'll have to hit it with a fat ass 6.
Yeah, I'll go slightly higher. I'll do a 6.5. I do agree. I think I've I've become a bit jaded with how great the EXO vocalists are that I'm not
Mm,
easily impressed by that anymore, which is a little
mm,
crazy to say, but that just shows
mm,
how good they are.
yeah.
So, I don't know.
Y'all.
So,
Sorry,
I give
Steve.
it, yeah. So, let's move on. We
Mm.
have Hear Me Out, which was done by Park Ji Hyun, Kim Dong Hyun, Grades, Jacob, Jack Rowe, Michael Orabi Riley, Steve Octave, George Carroll, Sade Munira, Tavon Young, Tay Jasper, and Adrian McKinnon. Wow, that's a lot of people on this song.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
this was the second pre-release single from the album.
Hmm.
So wow, that is a lot of people, which is interesting because the song
Yeah.
actually is relatively simple. So that's a very interesting.
It's giving. I have an idea. Put that down. Like,
Okay, so what did you think of this one? We did get to hear this one a few weeks before the album
oh
came out.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Shout out to Adrian McKinnon. He's been with SM since Four Walls, and Four Walls by
Mm,
FX got on Bill. Was it Billboard? No,
Rolling
Rolling
Stone, right?
Stones.
Yeah.
Rolling Stones like top like K-pop song. So shout out to Adrian. He's been in the game for like the longest time and writes good songs. So I can understand them like reaching out to him consistently. And this one I like because it feels like something that Music Soul Child would release.
Ooh.
So it kind of maintains that, right? So it kind of maintains that R&B neo soul kind of feel, and because the vocalists are good and they are R&B trained, it doesn't feel like they're like, doing like karaoke, which I appreciate, because there are some groups I'm like, boy, if you don't stop. But they don't sound like that, and I appreciate it. I love the mix on this song. It's so good. Oh, it's perfectly mixed, and I love that during the pre-hook, excuse me, and the bridge, the claps are brought more forward into the mix, where throughout the whole song they're kind of like back in the kind of mixing pretty like subtly. But
Mhm.
this one's you kind of get immersed in the claps, so you feel like you're at a kickback. And oh man, shout out to Kai. You know, his voice fits so well on this song. And when his parts came around, I was like, oh, that's nice. Oh, that's nice. I enjoyed that part because it's different from Baekhyun's a little bit more raspy, more different than Dio's, who's a little bit more smoother, and Chen, who's like he's their true tenor for sure. Like it's just different from all of their voices, and he's
Mhm.
gotten so much better that when he does sing, you can go, yeah. Yeah, I can see why you had as a title track. That's great. This song is definitely something I could play at like a barbecue and no one would notice it's in Korean. So I appreciate that. And that's good because it transcends just like, oh, it's a K-pop song. It just happens to be in Korean. Is it
Mhm.
good? Is it bad? That's for you to decide. So, and I like that. You know, I appreciate that. What did you think about this one? Because it's definitely one of those songs, like you said, we were like, oh, this what we getting? Y'all warming us up. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. I really loved this from the first time I heard it for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, I agree with you. It's a good barbecue song. It's a good like when you're chilling in like the backyard song or even a
Mm,
driving song. Like it all just
yeah.
feels very light, a nice day. Like it gets the neck going. It's got a good head bop ability to it.
Probability.
Yeah, vocally, I completely agree. I have to shout out Suho actually on this song and
Mhm.
actually throughout the album
Yeah.
because I think now they didn't really know how to use him for the first couple albums, I feel like, because they
Yeah.
would kind of have him there with the three main vocalists and he could
Yes.
never really match up to them because he's not a power vocalist.
He's a
He
crooner.
sounds great. He's a crooner. He sounds great when he's not pushing that hard and he can be a little
Yeah.
lighter. And
Yeah.
so it's showcased perfectly in this song, especially in that pre-chorus, and then he had those little ad libs at the end as well. So yeah,
Mhm.
shout out to him. He really stands out there.
Yeah.
The harmonies in this song, and especially that bridge, super cool. Great use of octaves, and I love that it's Kai and Chen doing that harmonized ad
Yeah.
lib together. That's a very interesting duo.
Yeah.
So I look forward to a live performance of this because it does make me wish they did more harmonies live because all those
Mhm.
oohs and those ahs live
Yeah.
would be so beautiful. We know they could do it too. It's just not
Yes.
in how they do vocal arrangement in K-pop, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
it is really beautiful to listen to though. I
Mm.
love the chorus melody. I just think it's awesome. I
Mhm.
love that it starts out a little lighter and then you have the more higher tenor vocalists coming in to kind of finish it off. It's all just very soft and breathy, more like how I wanted them to sing Cream Soda, I guess. But this one's just super warm. And yeah, just like a nice sunny day is kind of like the visual that I get for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, really enjoy this. What did you think of the video?
This video is like it's so funny because when you watch like their VCRs and their concert translation, VCR are the video interludes for
What
those
does
who are
it
like
stand for? Video.
camcorder recording,
Okay.
like the original
Like the
VCR.
regular VCR meaning,
Yeah,
but
I
they
don't.
use it as video interludes. Interesting.
Yeah, listen, guys. Chris has always laughed at me. I'm like, oh, they're doing a ment. He goes, oh my god, the ment.
Yeah, but you'll say that during Western concerts too. Like, oh, check out this VCR. And I'm like, it's Beyonce. They don't call it a VCR.
I'm laughing silently for those who are just listening. I put myself on mute with Chris because I guess so I'll cackle. Um, but yeah, the VC it looks like a VCR for a concert, which I appreciate
Mhm.
because I don't think a lot of like casual fans would notice that these guys actually have a sense of humor because their songs have been so good consistently. It's like they're taken very seriously. But if you watch any of their like behind the scenes stuff, like you're like, oh, these guys are very much unserious. Wow. And this
Mm.
video kind of portrays it. They're easygoing, they're relaxed, like they're chill. Like Suho legit has a backwards cap on. I would never peg him as that guy like how many years ago, but he's minding his business, chilling. Even though he was styled, I feel like everyone's style matches their personality. Like the fact that Kai had purple and pink hair in this video and was wearing like this motorcycle outfit, but still managed to make it look casual. I'm like, the guy would wear that. I could believe that. The video is super strange though. I feel robbed of the pink and purple hair because of the army thing, but another conversation. But yeah, the video is strange for sure. Like I'm not sure if not so weird where I'm like chasing a story, but I'm still trying to figure out what's going on. Like I'm not sure if they're like going through like a groundhog day where they keep reliving this whole cleanup party clean up situation, or they're just kind of just having parties every night, or like is it this the aftermath of their parties together? I don't know, but it was fun. It was just chill and kind of deceptive because the song is very like emotionally vulnerable. It's like, here, hear me out. Like, here's how I feel about you. I'm waiting for you. Like, no rush, but just believe me when I tell you I feel this way about you. And the video is like, yeah, we're dancing at the bowling alley. Yeah, huh. Hey, it's giving not what it sounds like. So I'm just like, okay.
That's interesting because I actually felt opposite to that, or I felt differently to that because
Oh yeah.
I think it's more like if you take the angle that this song's about their friendships, then it's kind of like we're so comfortable together, like we
Mm-hmm.
know that we're there for each other, and then this is like just footage of them hanging out, I
Yeah,
guess.
the song sounds like
And
what we said it felt like.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wait, yeah, yeah. And they did that in the video. Okay, got it. All right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, just them living everyday life, like Kai doing, I don't know, his laundry and stuff, like ironing his shirt. Like it was like they did a good job with the like camera angles and stuff to keep it interesting, at least, because they were doing very mundane things for the most
Yes.
part.
Yes.
But no, I appreciate it. Like you said, they're normally very serious in all their music
Yes.
videos and dramatic. So
Yeah.
it is nice to just have something a bit lighter for sure.
Indeed, indeed. So, how would you rate this one?
Yeah, so I will give this one a 9.5. How about you?
I was going to give it that, but I'm going to give this one just 9, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, just 9, yeah. Up next is Private Party by Moon. So, Lee, Brandon Arriega from Pretty Much, Landon Sears, Rudy Sandarpa, and Styles Fuego with MZMC. I feel like we've seen these names before, especially with MZMC. And shout out to Brandon for like getting in his K-pop bag because I mean, you came from a boy group and I want you to write songs like this for your group, but I digress.
You hear moments of it though. Like if you listen to
Yes.
the latest Pretty Much album, you can hear moments of it, which is
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot dirtier though.
Oh,
Actually, well, to be fair, this song could be very dirty. So
yes. I
yeah.
love it. Sorry. I'm so dirty.
Yeah.
Like
So
grown.
this is an instant standout for me. I don't think I'd forget if I texted you, but I texted a few people. I was like, oh, I think this should have been the title track.
single.
Like just on the first
Absolutely.
listen, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this stands out immediately. Yeah. And I still kind of feel that way, though Cream Soda has grown on me, but I think this may have been a little bit better for worldwide appeal. But yeah, the production is really cool. I love how strong the clapping beat is. The bass hits are really strategically timed and really, really effective the way they're used. Just all very, very full. Love the little bass riff lead up into the chorus as well. Of course, there are bed springs right after the chorus too, which I think are really, really funny because it's just cheeky, I guess. So yeah, chorus super, super simple, very, very catchy. I can't wait to see them perform this because I'm already picturing really good choreography for this, so don't disappoint me here.
Pressure.
And yeah, you know, I do love there's just little switch ups every time, and they're all relatively subtle. Like every chorus is slightly different, especially that last one. You get that puh 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 puh. I don't know the exact.
Oh yeah.
See, I don't remember the exact cadence, but you know, they like at least switch it up just to keep the
Yes.
song interesting right to the end. Because the production, though the production is great, it kind of stays kind of at the same level the whole time.
yeah.
So it's those
Yeah.
little switch ups that keep it interesting.
Yes, I think the whole this style of song is like I think Miami based if I'm not mistaken. It's definitely like Dr. Luke, not Dr. Luke. Whoa, wrong person. Uncle Luke. Sorry. Woo. Hello. We're back. It's definitely Uncle Luke. Dance, too much booty in the pants, or even Usher's recent song with the City Girls, or night, night, I think of you, I want that kind of like percussive, like percolating kind of beat that's like Miami bass, and I think that's what makes it so much fun. Like it reminds me of roller skating, neon lights, black lights. It's just fun, and I think this song is like the only response to Cream Soda in terms of energy and in terms of like being like super upbeat. This is probably the only callback to that song on the album that I noticed where I was like, oh, okay. I do appreciate their sentimental songs, like I get it. But I appreciate when they give us flirty, and this song was all types of flirty. They do it so well, and they're at that
They
age they
do.
should be able to flirt. And I love the note jumps in the first verse that like Baekhyun and Shumin do, from like chest to falsetto, like the. I'm singing the melody wrong. Do not try to come at me. I'm
Yeah,
singing
this
the melody
album's
wrong.
new, guys. We don't know it yet.
Yeah, we've been listening, but you know, I do like the note jumps that kind of makes it interesting. And oh my God, I wish they would have made this into a single. I'm going to say it. There's so many sonic textures in this song. Like, even though it is pretty same, it still has some interesting thing. Like, it's smooth, it's bouncy, it's wiry. And then it gets better and better as it progresses, but not like in this jarring way where it's like a Chex Mix switch up or something. And I think SM is like king of the bridge for sure. I love the bridge breakdown. Like that section with the harmonies and then the wind up. It made Chen's note so much more satisfying than it did in Cream Soda. Like, I get it. Like, I get it. But this one was like harmonies, building up, and it goes, I'm like, yeah, there it is. That's what it's supposed to be. And so when that party part comes around, it's like, oh shoot, the beat didn't change. It ain't changed. The beat didn't change. Just the top line did. Yeah. So yeah, this one is definitely one of those. I'm just like, this would have been fire. Because there's no boy group right now that's making songs like this. Everyone's like really serious or like hip hoppy or noise music-y, which is fine. But this would have stood out.
Yes. And the music video concept for Cream Soda would have totally worked, obviously. Private party. Hello.
Yes. Especially in that dungeon. It's very private.
Very. All right. So I will give this one a 9. How about you?
This one I will give a 9.5. I almost gave it a 10. Almost.
It's hard, man. EXO's discography is so good.
Yeah.
It's really hard. Yeah.
That's the thing. Yep. Especially with like, even like the last album with Can't Fight the Feeling, they had good B-sides. I was like, damn, this is good. So
yeah.
Bars
and
high,
even that, it was like not their best, right? So it's
right.
Okay, moving on to track 5, we have Lee So-ran, Jackson Morgan, Brandon Arriaga, Pink Slip, Inverness, and MZMC. And there was a little bit of drama with this one because when MZMC went on Instagram Live, he did play the original version or the demo that he produced. And he was like, look, there are drums here. Like when he played the bridge. So clearly he's not happy with the final mix that was done.
I mean, not the drama. I'm crying. That sucks. That stinks.
Yeah. So I guess he's not happy with what they did. But actually, I don't mind it. I don't mind what they did. I think they tried to just give it a bit more drama by pulling back the percussion during the bridge. But
yeah.
It is interesting that they don't consult those producers. Like they don't get sent the final versions before the album comes out. I find that bizarre.
No, because we talked about it with ADN and Curtis and them. They don't care. They're like, you're doing us a favor.
Right. We're gonna do whatever we want with what you do.
Yes.
And you just you live with it. Yeah, it's very
you
interesting.
wait until it comes out and they're just like, oh, and then you have to wait. So I feel them. It's kind of just like, that's not what I said. It's not what I sung. You know? But hey, listen, man, everything else is still there. So you know. That being said though, this song, regardless of the drums being there or not being there, is it good? That's the question. And I will say that I like the tone of the production. I think it's so interesting to have those plucky sounds. Like it reminds me of Attention by Charlie Puth with that doom, 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 doom. It has that kind of cat and mouse chase kind of feel to it. It's very plucky. It's very, not sinister. It's very mysterious in a way. Not very, but it is mysterious in a way where it's like giving chase to something, and which is perfect because the song's title. The brassy synth in the chorus is a choice. So I'm gonna jump right to that. That from the little kind of like fairy tale-ish kind of pluckiness into that brassy, it was a choice. I don't know if it's a good one. I don't know if I hate, but it definitely caught my attention. Like I will say, I was like, oh, this is the chorus, I suppose. Like that's what happened. Lyrically, the song takes the POV of the Prince Charming, and I think that's a great idea, but maybe the chorus was just a little too easy. Like, give me tension in that chorus. Like, give me like, I'm chasing this girl, not Cinderella. La 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 la, or like Cinderella, Ella, I'm totally joking. But like, it was just like, tra la 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 la. It was giving like Captain Underpants. You know, like la 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 la, Cinderella la 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 la, and I'm like, come on, that's a moment to go something. Give me something tension filled, just to kind of differentiate this track from everything else we've already heard. Because here we are at track 5, and this is what we got. No offense, but no, thank you. Like I feel like this SM chorus would have been like even better because we could have got that group vocal. We didn't get that. And I do wonder what would have happened to this song if we would have got like a Coach and Sendo treatment like Savior for by The Voice. If you have not heard Savior by The Voice, it kind of has like this kind of feel, but by the time you get to this like the second and third parts of the song, it kicks into a whole other gear and the beat changes and it's like this nice little kind of house beat. This song would have just been elevated with a different kind of outro to kind of give like the whole I'm chasing after my Cinderella. Like, give me a story with the production. And no offense to them, it's good, but I'm like, how far can we push it? Especially with EXO, especially with them.
Yeah, so I think I like the song more than you do, though I do agree with what you're saying. I do have in my notes that I wish the build was more intense because that last chorus doesn't go as hard as I want it to. So yes, I definitely agree with you there. I appreciate this song on the album because finally there's a little bit of darkness here.
Oh, yeah.
Because EXO excels when there's at least a little bit of darkness there because they're just good at the drama of it all. So I'm happy that this is here. Like, this would have definitely fit on an older album for sure. So yeah, I think they are always really good with this type of sound. So I appreciate it. I have to shout out the little 4-part harmony at the end of the bridge. I think
God,
awesome.
yes.
And also, I think that might be Brandon as well, because there's stuff like that all over the Pretty Much stuff. I think I like the chorus more than you do. I think there is tension there, I think, in the way that it's produced. And also, I like how they sing Cinderella. Like, in that falsetto, it's kind of longing. And then the la-las are like kind of, again, just kind of dark and a little foreboding. So I actually don't mind the chorus. I do agree that the verses are the highlight here. Like, the rest of the song is stronger than the chorus itself, but I think it's effective in what it is. And I like how heavy it kind of, I don't mind that kind of horn.
Right. I feel you.
Yeah. I don't mind it at all. So yeah, I actually think this one stands out on the album because it sounds a bit more like maybe something that could have been on tempo or something. So yeah, tempo. I'll give it a 8.5.
I gave it a 7 originally, but aside from the chorus being like, okay, whatever, I did like the song. So I'll bump it up a little bit to like an 8. I'll give it a full point.
Oh, wow, you're giving me a full point up.
I will, yes. Because like I said, at first I was like, oh, God. But I remember when we first listened to it, I was like, oh, my God. And this song came out, I wasn't mad at it. I just didn't like the chorus. I was like, dang it. But it's not even the production. It's the melody of the chorus. But yeah, so I'll give it an 8. I'll be nice.
You don't have to if you don't want
I'll be fair, rather. I'll be fair. Not even being nice. Like, I don't dislike the song. Up next is No Makeup by Moonseo Lee, London Noise, 7 Days, and Adrian McKinnon. Hello, Adrian. Welcome back. I used to get him and Adrian mixed up all the time when I was a kid. I did not understand there's 2 different men. Shout out to both, though, because they've been killing it for SM. This one is so interesting to me because when I first heard it, I was like, I would love to hear Do Young, Xiaojun. I would love to hear them sing this song. Oh, but then the chorus came around and I was like, NCT who? Oh. Sorry. Because my thing is like EXO was SM's true R&B baby.
Yeah.
Truly. Like in our hard review, I said that Shiny was like their quirky, like random kid that kind of popped up like in polka dots. Like that's how they kind of came out, like electro pop, R&B vocals, yeah. But EXO was truly giving you like, you know what I'm saying? So like that kind of thing is important. And which is why I kind of thought, oh, Dio, oh, Jaehyun, oh, Xiaojun, because those vocalists were training in freaking EXO heyday. So it's natural for me to go like, oh, it'd be nice to kind of hear them. But they have their own kind of sound. They each have their own, like Baekhyun, Chen, Dio, Suho. They all have their own kind of sound where you're like, man, there is no other group that could sound like this. Like, yeah, you could sing the song, but they have their own timbre to their voices. And I'm so glad that the song was not like rap heavy. Like, I can't imagine, again, not hear, like to hear Mark or Taeyong on this song. No, I don't think, like, I'm not saying he can't do it, but it's just nice to kind of hear like, maybe not even first album was taken way far back, but like second album EXO on this, like, you know, third album EXO on this, like it's like a B-side that you're like, oh, this is cute. I'm not mad at it. The production was sick on this. Like, it's like a perfect little baby making jam, but then they're like sonic Easter eggs. For me, if the song was just playing by itself production wise, I would appreciate it. It's definitely it has one of my favorite bridges. It has a brassy like synth that goes throughout the song, and those bass notes, not brassy, bassy synth notes, and those bass notes, it's what keeps the song grounded for me in juxtaposition with the airy vocals that are present. So for me, I'm like, I could listen to the production by itself. I can listen to this a cappella and be like, this is a good song. So for me, this is kind of like, okay, I like this. I like this a lot. And it's kind of sexy, the No Makeup thing.
It is.
It's kind of
Yeah.
sexy. So I appreciate it. And it's not as boring as I thought it was going to be.
Oh wow.
Sorry. This album was had me scared when I was listening through it the first time. I'm not gonna hold you.
Yeah, well, we'll discuss that in our overall thoughts later. But yeah, so I like this one. This
Mhm.
was definitely one that was also a grower because I was also kind of underwhelmed the first time I heard it. Because again, EXO has great mid tempo stuff like this already. So I just wasn't sure
Yeah.
if this really brought anything new there. But having listened to it more, I actually do really like it. Chorus is just classic boy band. It's unison harmonies. They have that almost a cappella moment for that final chorus. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
like Westlife, like they would kill this. Like, like all these other Western boy bands would love a song like this.
Oh
So
yes.
so yeah, I love that as a big boy band fan, right? And I do love that the raps are at the end as well. Like it's a subtle part.
Mhm.
It's just part of the outro, and then it's mixed with all these extra background vocals and ad libs, and it's just a really, really
Mhm.
satisfying outro here. I do think the melody in general is really great. I especially love the pre-chorus. I like the little stops in the music just to
Oh yeah.
emphasize those moments. For
Mhm.
Chen, and I think it's Baekhyun that does the second one. The melody is quite sexy. Production is relatively subtle, but the bass line is pretty heavy in it, which I like.
Yeah.
Everything, there's just a lot of reverb all through it as well. So it's just very atmospheric, which I appreciate.
Mhm.
And yeah, we've been talking about their vocals the whole time, but I think this one does showcase their vocals very well and
Yeah.
kind of what they're good at, right? Like,
Mhm.
obviously, we've talked about the three as the strong vocal line already. And yes, you mentioned the NCT. Like, I'm sure this could have been an NCT, like, DJJ song as well. Like, it
Yeah.
totally makes
Yeah.
sense with where they were going. But I think because EXO is older and because they have all those other members that can all sing very, very well, I think
Mhm.
EXO maybe would execute it better. So
Yep.
it makes sense that
Yep.
it goes to them. But
Yeah.
yeah, again, Suho, Xiumin, and Kai, they always play an interesting role, I think, vocally, because like I mentioned earlier with Suho, like it took them some time to kind of know where they sit. But I think with this
Yes.
song and with the rest of the album, they
Mhm.
did a good job of kind of putting them in the right places. Like I think I've complained before about Suho and I've complained before about Xiumin and like them not
Yes.
giving him the right parts. And so
Yes.
here though, he sounds really good and he sounds really, really good in this song. And yeah, again, the two rappers are great. And this song actually made me miss Lay as well because I
Oh
think Lay would have
yes.
sounded really great on this because he has a much thinner tone than everyone else. He does sound a
Yeah.
little similar to Suho, but thinner than that.
Yeah.
So he's good with this type of stuff. So I do miss him on this, and I do wonder if we'll ever get him back. But we'll get into that
Mhm.
later, I guess.
Mhm. Gulp.
So what do you rate
Well,
this one?
this one actually gave a cute little score. I like it a lot. I gave it a 9. But this is like my own personal taste kind of seeping in as well. I gave it a 9 because I think as an R&B track, like you said, I would love to hear a Western group do it.
Mhm.
I love that they did it. And because they're them, they sound really good. And I do not want to hear any other SM group try it. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Mhm. Yeah, no, it's solid for sure. I will give it an 8.5. Up next is Love Fool, which was done by Cha Yu Bin, John Mars, Christian Fast, and Jimmy Clayson. All right, so what did you think of Love Fool?
Gosh. Finally something like fun and simple. Like this one doesn't sound too like intense and too da da da. It's one of those songs where I'm like, oh yeah, I could see XOLs being like, this is really cute. Like, it's one of those performances that they go around and they kind of sing it to the crowd, like on the cherry pickers and stuff like that. Like, yeah, or like a VCR song that's playing. Like, it's bouncy, it's fresh sounding. Again, very XOL catered, it feels like. Even if it wasn't XOL catered, I can see the fans liking it.
Mm.
As if we're not fans. But like watching it being performed, I can see them being very cute with each other. It's very Eggio, like you can do it and not have it be like it's like, oh God, this
Oh,
is too much.
interesting. That's not what I picture, but continue.
Well, my brain went there. But yeah, it's a nice sonic break from the chilled out R&B. I will say, I appreciate that the lyrics are kind of sappy, but the delivery saves the song from being lame. Like the way they deliver the vocals keeps the lyrics from being like, really? Oh my God, you're so cheesy. I love the piano breakdown moment in the chorus. It feels like the chorus in the bridge area because it feels like very confessional in tone, where it's like the guy in the middle of public being like, "Hey girl, I love you. What do you say? Me, if you did that to me, we're breaking up." But it feels like very nice. It feels fun. But then there has like a little bit of like a cool moment when you have like the little rapper interjections. Again, it's good to have these little breaks with a deeper voice because, like you said earlier, it helps make things sound a little bit cooler and less like, you know, na 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 otake otake. It doesn't feel so cute. I think luckily because they had like those little sonic breaks or those moments where it's a little cooler, it helps give the song a necessary edge, and I appreciate that. So the
Mm.
song is nice. I do like it. But I will also say it's not one of my favorites on the album. So,
Mm.
yeah, I'm curious to hear your thoughts though, for sure.
Interesting. I think this actually is one of my favorites on the album.
Mhm.
I think part of that though is because it totally reminds me of 2000s British pop. Like I could totally see Blue doing this. I could see
Yeah.
Liberty X doing
Yeah.
this because I don't know. I think it's just the way the melody is, and also it's those breaks in the chorus. Give
Yeah.
me that
Yeah.
bump a bump. Like all of that
Yeah.
is so
So
British
Britpop.
pop from the 2000s. So I love that. So I think just that
Yes.
nostalgia makes me love it. I really like that little switch up as well because that's what makes it more modern, right? You have it's
Mhm.
almost like the Coco Bop, like it's
Yeah.
almost like that. You have like Sehun doing that kind of
Oh,
I don't know what he's
yes.
saying, but that his little moment, and then you have that vocal fry like in the back.
Yeah,
It's very
yeah.
interesting, and it adds a little darkness. It grounds the song a little bit more because it is quite fresh otherwise. So it
Mhm.
just gave it a nice dynamic, and I appreciate that.
Mhm.
I love the little piano bridge moment. I
Yes.
think it's great.
Yes.
Again, it just feels nostalgic. Like it's more
Yeah.
soulful. Like yeah, it's just dramatic. I don't know. It's great.
I
So
agree.
yeah, this like I mentioned, I think this just balances kind of the older R&B soul boy band influences that we
Mm.
love EXO for with a
Mhm.
more current sound, and I think the song does it really well. So yeah, this one
Yeah.
stands out for me. So I will actually give it a 9.5.
Oh, okay. I gave it an 8.5. Nothing too bad. It wasn't terrible, but yeah, I gave it 8.5. Next is Another Day by Mola, Chamaine, Kenita, Maria Hazel, Matthew Grant, Robin Ellingson, and Balaz Arco. Woo! Another Day. This was one of those songs where I thought, dang, the production gave a lot more than the melody was giving me. No offense to people who write these songs. This is not like an attack on your songwriting skills. Obviously, they came out to you for a reason. But for me, the top line did not really do much. I do appreciate how Baekhyun came into that intro. I do appreciate it, which was very deceptive because then the song lost its momentum after that man opened his mouth. I will give credit where credit is due and say that I love every pre-hook that had Chanyeol as the low harmony. That was interesting because
Yes.
he's underutilized in that sense. Like he is a perfect bass note for a lot of harmonies. Y'all should use it some more. It would make the song, it would give me Boys to Men. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Kyungsoo, Dio, that man has my heart. His voice is so good. Like Baekhyun, we get it. Chen, we get it. Kyungsoo, which is why his album disappointed me, but that's for another conversation. But yeah, he's so good for R&B. And again, this song, like for me, just lost the opportunity to be a cool track as opposed to falling lyrically in line with romance and like somewhat uplifting. I don't really get the whole like, it's another day, you can do it. Like it was just, oh God, I just can't. Like the instrumentation was just giving me so much more than I was getting from the top line. I feel so bad for saying that because it's not easy to write a song. I get it. But it also doesn't have to be this like simple. I don't know, man. Like for me, it just wasn't enough. And that's all I'll say. I'm gonna stop. I don't want to drag it.
Yeah. Well, so first off, I had the exact same note as you about Chanyeol. So yes,
okay.
love him
Oh, really?
singing the bass octave. Yeah. So this is one also kind of like Regret It that I just never remember.
Oh
Like
yeah.
when I listen to the album, when it comes on, I'm like, which one is this one again? Which is
Mm.
never great, especially on such a short album, So it's not a bad song. I think, again, it's just fillery. Like, this would never be a title track for anyone, let alone EXO,
Yeah.
So it's just kind of there. Like, the melody is just okay. Like you said, it just doesn't really go anywhere. And the production, I guess, is interesting, but again, also it just kind of stays at the same level the whole time. I think
Yeah.
they tried it with the little synthy day little post chorus. Like there's a simple effect. It is effective. It does switch it up a little bit, but not enough to like up the song a little bit more for me. I think the distorted synths are cool. I don't know. It's all just okay. I think again because the production is so bare, like some of the songs we've been talking about already, it does rely on their vocals, which I get it. It makes sense. They're really, really good vocalists, but when the
Mm-hmm.
melody isn't great, they can only do so much. So I will say they definitely did what they could with it. They all sound good. They maximized this song. Like they made it the best it could be, but the song itself is like just okay. So yeah, it's just not a bad song. It's just kind of there. So yeah, I'll give it a
Oh,
7.
I gave it a 6.5.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So the final song on the album is Let Me In, and this one was done by Jajuan Antonio, Hassan Ashi Jr., Jaden Hill, Jordan Johnson, Kelsey Mergis, Noah Bearer, Kaylin Ellis, Hot Boy Rich, and Enzo. Wow, a lot of names on this album and on this
Yeah.
song. Very interesting,
Yeah.
but some new names, which is great that they're,
Yes.
hitting all these new people. So this song was the first pre-release single from the album and was also performed at their anniversary fan meetings earlier in 2023.
This one I remember hearing and thinking, oh, yeah, this is nice. I wasn't expecting it, but like after being gone for so long, essentially, for this to be like the first thing we're hearing from them as a group, I thought, huh, I like this. This one is one of those like ooey gooey ones, R&B kind of.
Mhm.
We like it. It wasn't as neo soul-y as Hear Me Out, but I liked this one. From what I can remember about like this whole album, it's a shame that we had so many songs that sounded so like chill and subtle and blah blah blah. So by the time you get to this one, if you haven't already been like kind of slightly bored, you get to the end of this. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
No. I agree with you. Continue.
But like by the time you get to this song, you almost kind of forget to appreciate how good it is. And I felt myself doing that when I heard it on the album in sequential order. But when I heard it like as the pre-release, I was like, oh, this is what I like to hear from EXO. This is what I'm talking about. Nobody makes music like this no more. I sound like an old head talking about new rap, like the kids don't do this. And I was like, dang, this is one of those songs where I'm just like, had you guys just tried a little bit harder, or at least maybe if you were picking out songs from song camps, been like, this could be a single, this could be a single, this could be a single, the best one wins, forget it, and then put this on, it would have been a nice closing song.
Yeah, I think this song represents EXO at its best in
Yes.
in a way.
Yes.
Obviously, I love the more upbeat stuff as well that they've done throughout their discography, but they
Mhm.
shine in this type of chill R&B track that has again a slight darkness to it, a slight melancholy to it, but also it balances out with warmth as well, like because their vocals are so warm. So yeah, this is just very much everything I love about them.
Yes.
The vocals again are just absolutely flawless, and I have to say whoever did the arrangement for this one also did a really great job choosing who sings what, because the
Mhm.
way they followed each other was really smart. Like
Yeah.
Dio starting off and then Suho ending that first verse, he sounds very different from Dio, but they're both vulnerable in different ways.
Yeah.
Kai and Schumann sharing the pre-chorus that fits perfectly within their ranges. Like they just did a really, really good
Yeah.
job giving everyone their roles there. And again, the background vocals on this song, and again, throughout the whole album as well. But this song during the chorus, like it's just so beautiful. The bridge is super beautiful, really long, extended harmonies.
Yeah.
But then it's mixed with this kind of almost whomping bass while the whole thing is kind of ethereal as well. Just really, really beautiful. You talked about Chanyeol singing earlier. I think he shines here when he
They're
sings.
here. Yes.
Yeah,
they
like
sing,
that
yeah.
last moment kind of
Mhm.
near the end of the song is so beautiful and it really,
Yeah.
really stands out. And I look forward to it like every time I listen
Yeah.
to it. And I do love how melodic the rap verses are this time as well.
Yeah.
And how they almost sound conversational as
Yeah.
well, the way they are sung. So I just think it's all really beautiful. But yeah, I think this whole thing is awesome. I love how atmospheric it is. It's dreamy, it's
Mhm.
ethereal. It's like a bunch of angels singing
Yes,
to
it's like that
you.
lo-fi kind of like that's really
Yeah.
popular. Like, oh,
Yeah. Because like that bridge, that harmony almost sounds like a choir the way it comes in. It's just
yeah.
so full. So yeah, I think it's really, really beautiful, and it's definitely grown on me a lot. To be fair, we've had this one the longest, so maybe
Yeah.
other songs on this album will grow on me the same way. But while I listen to this album, I look forward to the end because of this song. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It was for me, I just feel like it was a more solid pre-release. Like
Mhm.
it gave you like, okay, this album, if this is what's slow on the album, what else is on it? But then you had a bunch of just slow, and I'm just like, dang it.
Yeah.
You know,
So what did
like,
you think of the video?
the video was interesting. Okay, I usually try to tin hat, but I didn't watch the video that much. But I do appreciate the kind of like, it felt almost like retrospective. Like they were all kind of isolated, all looking in like places in the woods, in the movie theater, just by themselves. They can be surrounded by people, but be by themselves. The dog scene with Kai was questionable. Um, it's just, I don't know if you got anything from that, but like I said, I think just I don't know if there's a story as much as it's meant to be just symbolic.
I was thinking more like the world could end at any moment, so kind of
Oh,
enjoy life and don't like wallow in your feelings too much, or don't like
oh,
wallow in your sadness too much.
okay, like the
Because it
crashing
kind of
rock.
because it starts off because it reverts, like the rock goes away, like
Oh,
time
okay,
reverses because
yeah,
I think it starts off super lonely. Like you have this sad kid who like throws this rock into the
oh yeah, the
water,
water,
and then they're all super sad and alone. And you have this weird K drama moment between Do and Sehun of like them all just being alone. But then at the end, then like they talk to each other, and then
yeah,
like Chen and Xiumin, they're like looking at each other awkwardly in the theater, and then at the end they're like sitting together and laughing and watching their old footage. So it's almost like yeah, I mean, it is self-retrospective, I think, kind of like what you were saying before, but I think there is something to do with kind of like,
like connect while you still have time.
yeah, almost. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, yeah, because the crashing rock on the car, the crash is falling down. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay, makes
Yeah.
sense. Makes sense.
I will say they should have leaned into their powers more for this
More, yes,
because it just
would have
made
been
no
perfect.
sense. Like, why was Chun Yol the one making the rock flow? That
Well,
should
that's
have
not
been
his power.
Do, right? Isn't Do Earth? Like he should have been setting it on fire, or like Schumann could have
Uh-huh.
been like in an on alone, like on a melting
Ice cap or
ice.
something.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like the whole yeah, it makes sense. The world is ending. Why not use exoplanet powers to
Yeah, like the
save it?
powers really could have very easily been incorporated here in a very cool and more mature way. So I just thought that
Yeah.
was a missed opportunity. I do like the black and white solo shots as well. It almost
Oh
made it
yeah.
feel like it was a goodbye song though, which I don't love. Because
Mm-hmm.
it felt just so melancholic in that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was effective in the song, and
Yeah.
it made the colored parts like just more effective. So
Yeah. Shout out to Kai and that dog. Okay. All that being said, with the world ending and such, how do you feel? What's your score? Is it a perfect song? I think so.
yes,
Yeah.
you think so?
Yeah, I think this is like one of their best. Like it can go right along with whatever they've done previously. Like
So you give it a
10. This is my 10
cool.
song.
Yes, me too. This is also my 10.
All right. So we're at the section called Cut or Keep, where we cut one song and keep one song. So if you guys have made it this far, let us know your rankings, or excuse me, your ratings in the comments below. And also let us know what songs you would cut and what songs you would keep to show a non-fan, or just to kind of be like, yo, this is EXO. All right.
Mhm.
So yeah, Chris. What song would you cut from the Exist album?
I would cut Regret It. It's just, again, it was kind of, I mean, I think it's very clear which two songs it was between, but that one,
Yeah.
I don't know, there's just nothing about it that makes me ever turn back to it. So
I'm gonna cut Another Day.
yeah, that was the other one there.
I'm waiting for a fan to be like, I love these songs. Good for you.
Yeah, that's
Good
great.
for you.
That's what's great about music.
Yeah. Good for you. No offense, but it's not our taste. What song would you keep rather? For me, I think it's pretty obvious. We probably have the same one, Private Party. I just think should have been single. That's it. I'm gonna die on the hill. Should have been a single.
Yeah,
100%.
I would probably pick that one as well. Other
Yeah.
or Let Me In, I guess between the two. Yeah.
Oh, Night Love Fool. I'm surprised.
I mean, Let Me In is pretty perfect.
Oop, felt that. All right.
Yeah.
So what is your overall rating for this album? Are you doing like average score, or are you just kind of just like as a whole?
No,
thinking
just
about
as a
something?
whole.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think overall, this is hard. I think overall, I guess I'd give it an 8. I think it's interesting. We've been kind of alluding to it this whole time.
Mm.
The first time I heard this album, and we tried not to text too much about it so we could talk about
Oh,
it
yeah.
properly today and hear
Yeah.
each other's opinions for the first time.
Yeah.
But I was very underwhelmed, and I don't think that was helped by my dislike of cream soda, right? So the first time I heard it, I was like, okay, cream soda, no. Regret It, no. And then I was like, okay, Hear Me Out is great, but I've already heard it. And then, as you can tell from the scores, I actually do like all those songs after that. But they're all kind of the same. Like it's the same vibe, it's the same
Yeah.
production style. Like it's
Yeah.
all kind of minimalistic. It's electronic. It's R&B.
Yeah.
It's all relatively light. Like yes, there are elements of darkness. Yes, there are elements of whatever all these things we've been talking about. But as a whole, it kind of all blends together. Because especially the first time I heard it, like I was at work and I just had it on the background. I just had it on loop, and I was like, I don't remember any of these songs. It's just like, this is
Same.
a problem. That's a
Same
problem.
though. Yeah,
So
same.
yeah. So I think now, I think I will definitely take parts of this and they will go on like my best of EXO playlists and stuff. I can see that happening, but as a project, it's not even close to a couple of their albums for me, like The War and
Yeah.
Tempo. Like it
Oh.
doesn't match that for me at all.
Yeah.
I appreciate them going for a more mature sound, but that doesn't mean that you can't be fun, that you can't be dramatic, that you can't be intense. Like you can still give variety in the album.
Mhm.
So yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, I look forward to eventual performances. I think that will help, maybe, because that helped with Cream Soda. So I think if I see them perform some of these songs, it might make me like them more. So I think it's a solid album. I think at the end of the day, they have such a high standard that even a solid album is like not their best, right? So
You know, wait, what's your score though? You give it an 8, right? Yeah, I gave it an 8. Yeah, I think I'll give it an 8 too. And someone was so mad at me when I was like, yeah, EXO seems like they're at the end of their run here. A couple months ago when we recorded it and we finally uploaded, and then what happened? This album for me just didn't feel as well thought out. I'm gonna say it. At this point, you can drag me all you want. You're gonna be together forever. They can be friends for forever. Okay. But at the end of the day, it's like, unfortunately, they don't really have that much control over what gets put on the album as much as we as fans would love them to. Because I feel like their names weren't really in there as much as they have been like in the past. Like Chanyeol wrote his raps, or blah 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 wrote his raps, or this person kind of contributed vocals or something. Like, I mean, like an idea or writing credit or something. Like, there's nothing really there. And then even some names that we've seen with their biggest songs are not on their tracks. No offense to the new names, not saying you can't write a song, but it does say something when you have your best hitters writing for like NCT or writing for like aespa, and then suddenly you're kind of going back to people that you worked with when they first started out, or like brand new names that no one really heard of. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever, but it just doesn't feel like you were like giving them the best of the best. And with SM songwriting camps, they can write like hundreds of songs and they kind of just all go through it and they're like, hey, bam, this was makes the most sense like for an album. Like I said, no discredit to anyone, but because you're dealing with a group that's been out for 10 years now, like the fans are going to be like, especially fans like us are going to think, okay, where's the rest of it? Okay, where's my El Dorado? Where's my, like we can go down a whole list of like, where's my blah, blah, blah? Where's this? Where's that? Where's my 2.0 of Growl, even at this point? Like, I know it's been that long, but like, where's my 2.0 of something? And a lot of that doesn't have it, and which could be a good thing, but because they're not reinventing the wheel either, it just feels like it's just safe. And because it's safe, I'm giving it a safe score of 8. A big old fat 8. Doesn't mean they're not talented. It's just for me, I feel like they could have just given us so much more fun stuff. Like Rover makes no sense, but yeah, it's a fun song. Like, oh, they deserve so much more fun things. Like Private Party, they should have been like 2 more. 1 more song to kind of like Cream Soda, Private Party, and then 1 more song to kind of just bring that crap home. The whole Party Boy thing home. But
yeah. All right. So since we filmed our 101, our Pop 101 episode, so Kai went to the military. Baekhyun, Chen, and Xiumin sued SM Entertainment to try to get out of their contract. There was all this weird, dramatic back and forth between the lawyers where they were talking about like unfair treatment and not knowing how their fees were calculated, et cetera, et cetera. But then it was very oddly resolved very quickly. And suddenly they're back with SM. They're like, they renewed their contract. We're fine. Although Baekhyun has still been kind of shady with his posting. Like he'll post stuff. Well, he'll like cut out the SM logo. Like it's clearly like there's still some tension there. So I think that might lead into why maybe there's less effort put into the album. I don't know. Yeah, and apparently there's also still one member of EXO that hasn't renewed yet. Like they kind of alluded to that with the whole weird Killing Voice cancellation / postponement. It was all very odd. They've also been advertising events in the next couple months without Sehun. So I think clearly Sehun's about to go to the military as well.
Aw.
And then Lay is no longer with SM, but technically part of EXO, but no one even mentions him ever. So is he even
Right.
part of EXO? I don't
No.
know. So in terms of what's next, from what we know, there's nothing planned for the group, really. They've just talked about some solo stuff coming up.
Yeah.
But yeah, what are you thinking? What's your prediction?
Oh, so I can get dragged again and they'd be right months later.
Yes, let's see.
Okay. Here's my thing. I just want to give a shout out to Sehun because this concept, I will say, he seemed the most coolest for me because like he totally fit like the whole like.
He's killing it. He
Yeah.
took that lead dancer role really well, and he
Yeah.
sounds really good too. So yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Shout out to.
Sorry,
Sehun.
I forgot to say that the whole time.
Mm.
Sehun, you did with your long back and your long neck. Go off. I anticipate if they do manage anything, we might get a 1 weekend, maybe 2 weekends at the Seoul Stadium. That's pushing it. That is pushing it. PUSHING it. Okay. We'll see what happens. We'll see. But I don't think we're gonna get. I would love a nice like stadium tour so someone can bootleg it, but it's not gonna happen. I do believe that if they do continue with this company, maybe one more album, and if not one more album, trap the guys again and make them release solo stuff, and then when they're ready to go, they're just gonna go.
Mhm.
Like, I don't think it's going to be a Suju situation where they're like, we love each other so much, we're going to figure this out. Jungsu's an actor. He's not. No. Baekhyun, yeah, but he wants to leave. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like this is, I don't know how long their contract term is for. I don't know what they negotiated. But again, something about this just doesn't feel like infinity and beyond. It just feels like for now, pacifying,
Mm.
you know, kind of like, with all the crap that's going on with SM, this feels like a kind of like a pacifier moment where it's like, okay, it's fine for now. We want the fans to have like a nice like experience and not have it be covered with BS, even though it kind of started out that way. Because SM is notorious. I don't think they're going to be able to keep a lot of these guys.
So I think it's very interesting looking at Super Junior because they were given their own sub label, right?
Yeah.
So when that happened, I was like, oh wow, so they must have kind of a lot of control there. But then 2 of them just left. Two of them just left, but then said they're still part of Super Junior. So I think that's very interesting because that means clearly, even with the sub label, it still wasn't an ideal situation. And then
Yeah.
those 2, it's Donghae and Eunhyuk, I believe,
Yes.
who
yes.
they're now starting their own label. If they all do want to continue in the group, them all leaving together, I could see that happening. But we're gonna have to wait at least 2 years for Sehun to
Yep.
come back.
Yep. And that's what's crazy about it. Like,
Yeah. So I could see kind of the same situation as what you've been saying. Like, I don't think anything else is going to happen as a group.
No.
Like, they still
Yeah.
have a few commitments over the next couple months.
repackage? Question mark?
No.
No. Right. And that's what
No.
makes it even worse. It's like, dang, we can't even
Yeah.
get a repackage.
Maybe we'll get a Christmas song. I don't know. Maybe
Ooh,
potentially,
maybe.
but they'd be a
Yeah.
6 though. They'd be 6, so it'd be a bit odd. I don't know,
Mm.
but they have all their vocalists back, so maybe. I don't know. But the whole contract thing just was bizarre. It was just resolved so weirdly and quickly. It was kind of just like,
Yeah.
okay, we just need to like put this under the rug for now so that doesn't distract from the album coming out. But like,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what I'm
So
saying. I don't like it.
yeah, so it's a bit odd. For now, I'll keep watching the old exoplanets. And I'm happy with what they've given us so
Right.
far.
Right. I would rather
Um,
that than have it be like some BS that takes them down. They go down like in like flames. So I'll take it right now, you know?
Yeah. And
watch the
I
old stuff.
am looking forward to some of the solo stuff, actually. Like, I'm excited for
Yeah.
Baekhyun to come baek again as a solo
Yeah.
artist. Very curious what, if anything, Super M will do, because apparently that's happening again now.
Baekhyun's like,
just
F y'all, I ain't coming back.
very interesting. There's just a lot going on. And it's all just a big question mark. But yeah, I'm just glad that we at least got this comeback, because for a
my
minute it
God.
felt like we weren't going to get it at all.
Right. That's a shame. God dang it. Well, XOLs, don't drag us or do, but you know, be reasonable. What do y'all think about this album? And let us know what other albums you'd like to hear us review. Be sure to check out our previous album review of SHINee's hard. I can't do it like Chris can, but be sure to check that out. And hang out with us and the crew on Patreon to get priority choice. And you can comment below or message us at CCTV Pops on all social media. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications for our YouTube channel. And if you're enjoying the show on a podcast platform, please give us a follow, rating, and a review. Until next time, that's Chris.
That's Shan.
And we're signing off from CCTV, the nonstop pop show. Cream, soda, cream. That sugar on me. Soda.